Today, most Christians would agree that their faith is based on the Bible. If that is indeed the case, then it gives rise to a contemplative question. Would Christianity continue to exist without the Bible? If there was some sort of modern catastrophe that would destroy the Bible as we know it, would Christianity cease to exist? The simplest answer would be that if Christianity is in fact based on the Bible, then without the Bible certainly would not exist. But matters of religious belief are seldom simple, and this case is no exception. For the first 300 and something years, Christianity thrived without the Bible, simply because it did not exist. Some can argue that in those first 300 years, Christianity spread like wildfire throughout Europe and the Middle East. But how is this possible? Christianity, as most religions, was not founded on the book or series of books, but rather radical ideas that threatened the contemporary belief system of its time. Some might say that Christianity was founded on the teachings and writings of Jewish scripture that later made their way into what we today call the Bible. But is that really true? Most Jewish religious teachers of the time opposed Christianity and its teachings. But if Christianity was in line with the Torah and the Tanakh, then why would the religious teachers of the time oppose it so much? Paul, a major contributor to the New Testament of the Bible himself, was a student of Jewish religious teachings. For most of his life, he would focus on imprisoning Christians for their faith. The only reason he eventually converted to Christianity was because of a spiritual vision he saw on his way to persecute them. The Jews taught an eye for an eye, whereas Christ said to turn the other cheek. This was a very different way of thinking for the Jewish community at the time. So if Christianity existed and flourished for over 300 years without the Bible, then why has the Bible become such a fundamental element to the modern Christian faith? What happens to a religion when the central holy book is introduced? Fortunately, Christianity wasn't the only religion to start without a central holy book. Sikhism is a great example of what happens to a religion that starts without a central holy book, and then incorporates one later on in its existence. By incorporating the central holy book, the era of Guru-led Sikhism came to an end. An interesting thing occurs when the central holy book is introduced to a religion. It becomes the dominant authority, and in doing so, it unifies the religion to a central power. In Christianity, with the adoption of the Bible, we see the rise of the Catholic Church, and later on with the printing press, other churches known as different denominations rise to power, claiming that their interpretation of the Holy Book is the best one. But something else happens as well. The essence of the religion seems to disappear. The beauty of a religion disappears when it is boxed into words that become supreme law. People in general are less likely to trust other people and question the ideas that are presented to them. But if those same ideas are presented in writing and claim to be from a higher power, then most people are less likely to question them, and over time people can be easily deceived. Even though there are great and useful things written down in the Bible and other holy books that can be a useful source for modern man, we can see that people still use those writings to fulfill their own personal agendas. Christian history is a great example of this. So if modern Christianity didn't have the Bible to fall back on, what would it look like today? Perhaps there would be more smaller, diverse groups of Christians and less central power authorities like the Catholic Church. But also Christians would have to rely on their ideal principles that have been passed down, and to use those principles to make sound decisions for themselves on what they believe or don't believe, especially pertaining to morals and acceptable social lives. People would be forced to look at the world through the love and compassion that Jesus Christ himself instilled into his early disciples. If there is no one or nothing to tell you what to do, all you have is yourself.